I have seen them. It also wasn't what they're really used to. I feel like I've seen, well, I was gonna say Fortune Baker, but AL run much more standard stuff, so to speak, with junglers, and Mookie's plays a fantastic Tempest as well, and hopefully maybe we'll see something a little bit more standard from them. I still like the kind of interesting picks because they do make it work.
Yeah.
Monkey King on cookies, now Nomad on cookies, but yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see again game number 2. Now, it looks like they went to load into the lobby, but something got screwed up as far as going in. I think one of the players unreadied when it was actually loading in, so kind of screwed things up there. So probably, I don't know if another HoN Tour. Okay, it looks like a new HoN Tour lobby is up, so everything should be fine. Just a quick little hiccup there, but we'll be good to go in game number 2 very shortly. But this does give us a little bit more time to, again, kind of go over exactly what other matches may have ended up. So I'll kind of look through the brackets again. You can do this yourself. You go to hontour.com/events, or go to the events tab, and you can check out information, the brackets on really any tournament, both that's in the past and this ones that are happening, of course. Trademark is up 1-0 over Pudge in their series in the winners bracket. Q Squad and Lions are still in game number 1, so looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Complexity is up 1-0 over FYQ, and I actually did hear that was more of a stomp game even. So they should be in game number 2 right now. And then, of course, SG over Absolute Legends currently 1-0. So the losers bracket, we did have a forfeit, unfortunately. Shit happens. Apparently did forfeit against TT Esports. So TT Esports, they will remain in Diamond Division. that is good to hear. I guess, for all the TT Esports fans at least. But, again, it still is unfortunate that it just didn't get to be played. But, yeah, something happened, of course. Pikachu and Call of Karma. Call of Karma's up 1-0 apparently over Pikachu. I found that a little bit interesting, actually. Yeah. And then One Trick Pony and Q Squad 777. I'm not exactly sure. It says it was a forfeit, but something tells me it wasn't. So, yeah. Anyways, keep an eye to see how that finishes. So, there you go. But we have actually entered the game draft.
Oh, we have.
So,
okay.
I think it is time. I think it is time for game number 2. Absolute Legends taking on Stay Green here. Let's take a look. Legion team this time around being Absolute Legends, of course. They're going to go ahead and blind ban Parasite Wild Soul. SG, how about that? They go ahead and take out Monkey King as well as Keeper of the Forest. And that actually brings up an interesting point. Why the hell did we not even see Monkey King at all the first game?
I think it was banned.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure it was
blind banned.
Yeah.
Did I just completely miss that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If it wasn't blind banned, it was banned in the regular phase.
Okay.
But yeah, it was banned.
It must have been blind banned then, yeah, actually. Wait, I don't remember saying that, though. God.
I think it was.
Okay.
I want to say it was blind banned.
Maybe I'm just completely lost on that. That's very likely. Anyways, I bring that up because Cookie's obviously awesome Monkey King player, but not going to see it.
Anyway, some picks right there. Yeah, I was going to say that. When you lock Glacius like that, normally if you're the Hellborn team, you want to have both Glacius and Ophelia in the same lock pool. Because if you pick Ophelia, you just pick Glacius as a good counter to it. If you don't pick Ophelia and you pick Glacius, well, then I guess that's the only thing you can do out of AL. But do you really want to first pick Glacius at a lock pick pool? Well, in this case, maybe you have to. Mm-hmm. But if you do that, even though you have Glacius to fend off against Ophelia, at this point, you're right now sitting at Ophelia and Tempest. Do you really want to give both of those heroes to SG? So right now, you're going to have to lock in some good stuff. Like, you're going to have to lock in perhaps Fade, maybe like Fade and Bubbles or something like that. They're going to go Andromeda. Okay, they go with a carry in Silhouette. I don't know about this. But anyway, you see what I mean. Like, you pick up Glacius. Now you have them given the option of running both Ophelia and Tempest. But I don't think it's the end of the world because I think Suicide Tempest is bad, and that's what they would have to run if they did pick up both of those heroes.
Yeah. Well, the final lock coming up here for Swindle Mountains. But, yeah, I mean, the carry option, we really don't see carries unless that's like something like a War Beast, of course, in that lock pool, at least lately here on the competitive scene. But going to be locked up here by AL is that Silhouette option. So we'll see if either one of these teams come around to eventually running her, of course, but now Swindle Mountains with that final lock. But, yeah, you're kind of explaining there. I mean, it really does make things more advantageous even for the Hellborn team in that lock-picking stage because of that first pick. How about the final lock? Valkyrie coming out. That's a hero name. Haven't said it forever on the competitive scene. That arrow nerf, man, that was just one of those nerfs where it's like she went from being seen every single game to we're never going to play her again, apparently. Yeah. So I guess it just really did her in, and we just never, ever, ever see her. So I kind of feel that's more of just a trollish style lock there at the end. But it would be fun to see some Valkyrie again. It has been a long time.
It has been a long time, and I wouldn't say she's like bad now, but it does really vastly decrease her effectiveness in the early game. I believe you can still get those 5-second arrows from a good duration once you level up the arrow. But like I said, when you're early on, it almost forces you to level up that arrow, which is not a bad thing necessarily. So I don't think she's that bad of a pick as people, make her seem out to be. So anyway, some bands coming out. Pebbles is the first band from Cookies. And the next one is Fade coming out from Swindle Melons.
Yeah, don't want to have to deal with that Fade again, despite, being on the losing end, specifically played by Mookies there on Absolute Legends. It's just, of course, a dangerous hero to play against and not wanting to take the risk. Moraxis and Tundra are the next couple, and both sides, of course, that means have one more remaining band here. Then we'll enter that great regular picking stage. You see Jeremiah being right-clicked by both Slicks and Keizu over there for Stay Greens. I don't know if that just happens to be kind of more just fun, but Jeremiah is definitely a go-to option for sure. Whether or not they want to tell someone else to ban him or not is what I'm curious about. But Torture is the final ban from AL, and now you have Stay Green here with Swindle Melons. Going to ban their final hero, and it's going to be Draconis actually. So maybe some Jeremiah options here for Stay Green. We'll see if that comes about.
Well, I think the fact that you have Ophelia in that pool, and people seem to forget that when you have lots of heals in your team, it can really snowball out of control, and it's sometimes hard to counter it. So, this is why we saw Demented Shaman so popular during DreamHack, was picked and banned a lot. First pick goes out to Dark Lady for Cookies. And, I said before, is there a reason why Dark Lady just stopped getting picked? And I don't think there should be, because I think that hero is very, very strong. But I think there's nothing wrong with the first pick Dark Lady. I think it's just fine, especially with Silhouette in that lockpick pool. So, yeah.
Yeah, and again... So, we'll see how AL, uses her. And I'm curious to see who actually plays, because again, King Plato seems to be the more carry player that we've seen a lot lately. But last game, he was playing that secondary support Luna. So
yeah.
We'll see if he eventually gets swapped over. Maybe Cookies is the one to play Dark Lady. But back over to Stay Green now, and they again have some options. So, but yeah, the heal potential. Obviously, if you pick up a Jeremiah and then happen to get Ophelia from that lockpick pool, it can be just ludicrous having to just deal against that. You see a curse even being right-clicked by Z-Freak there. So really wanted to get some heal potential in here. But Magnus and Plague Rider are going to be the combo picks here for Stay Green. There is an Engineer on the board, but they choose to pass that up. Yeah. Instead, go with the Mag Plague Rider here. So.
Yeah, interesting. I'm kind of curious by that as well. I think they just want a strong deny suicide hero early off the bat. And Bubbles is picked up. Okay, it's gonna be. This is like a very what we saw Complexity do when they were very, very strong. So probably Bubbles suicide top, Witchlayer mid, Dark Lady plus perhaps I would say Glacius would be first picked out of that pool. And then the only problem is that leaves you kind of worried if they pick up both a Tempest and Ophelia right here. So right now SG have to do a little bit of thinking, and they have to be thinking. Okay, well, we need to make sure that we have our suicide. We needed a support for dual lane mid with Magnus. Now, we can't really go. We're gonna have to do. Okay, we can't pick two junglers basically out of that lock pick.
Yeah.
Because you already have your suicide, so it can't be Tempest unless you want Tempest to be your jungler. In which case, you're gonna have to go Tempest plus like Silhouette or Valkyrie. So they're in a good spot if they pick up like a support here. I think they're right-clicking Jeremiah. Okay, yeah, there it is. So Engineer Magnus is gonna go mid. Plague Rider suicide bottom, and I would suspect, depending on what AL picks right here, they're probably going to pick, well, I want to say Tempest for Mookies. They're right-clicking Ophelia, but either way, probably one of those junglers plus Silhouette in this case.
Yeah.
For SG. And that's a very strong lineup.
Yeah, both teams in the end, they'll have very strong lineups, it seems like, when it comes down to it. So unlike last game, I don't think it's if any advantage, it's definitely not nearly the advantage as we saw last game. I mean, that Stay Green's lineup just was just so much more powerful than Absolute Legends. This time around, I think both teams will end up with a good lineup, putting some just crazy, like a Silhouette Valkyrie final two picks here from AL or something just weird. But yeah, probably not going to be that case. And Cookies is spending some good time here, as he should. Ophelia is going to be that first pick, though. You got to think the Glacius Tempest here to finish on.
Oh, no. I would Tempest and Silhouette.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Duh.
Unless you want to solo Glacius.
They can have an Engineer carry. That can be possible.
I mean, this is like, the fact that they were getting these lineups, it's unbelievable to me. Like, AL's lineup is going to be fine, too. They're a little squishy, but I don't see why they don't just snap pick this. It seems glaringly obvious. You just go Tempest and Silhouette. Yeah, there's Silhouette, there's Tempest. Okay. Like look at this lineup. Again, this is one of those times where I'm like, pick 5 heroes that you think would be amazing on your team without bans. I'm like, okay, Magnus Engineer mid, got the strongest dual lane mid right now in the metagame. Plague Rider Suicide, perfect.
Short lane silhouette.
Short lane
carry
silhouette.
option. Not
Yeah.
bad.
Strong jungler and Tempest, perfect. Oh,
Yeah.
hey, we got it. Through all those bans, lock picks. All right.
Yeah, worked out pretty damn well.
I would say right here, Andromeda would probably be the best.
Mhm.
I mean, it would seem silly to pick up Glacius. Also, when you have synergy with, all of Andro's spells with Dark Lady, it's pretty obvious to me that they're going to run a Suicide Plague. So, Glacius would not be the smartest bet. Also, Andromeda is fantastic against Tempest, really is, and I really do hope they pick up Andro because it seems like clearly the best pick.
Yeah, and
here.
we said that it was the earlier series, SG versus My Revenge. I mean, it seems like Andromeda isn't underutilized support here. It really does in the competitive scene. And there we go. Absolute Legends, and yeah, fully agree. It just seems like that was the better option here for them. So that's good that Cookies decided to go with that. And I know, I see what you're doing for SG, but, you look at Absolute Legends lineup, and I feel like maybe not as extreme, but still, you can look at that and say it kind of came together pretty nicely here.
Well,
in the end.
Here's the thing, though, is the lineup that SG has is the evolved lineup from the metagame. The lineup that AL has is the not, is the one that's in the past. This is the lineup that SG has, is the lineup to counter this lineup that was so dominant for so
Good
long.
point, yeah.
And it's because you're going to destroy that dual lane, or that solo mid. It's going to be Witchlayer. He's very, very squishy. He is going to die over and over. And you're going to win
some hope,
You're going to win top 1v1. That's what you want. You want a solo in the short lane to win all by himself. You don't want assistance. You don't need assistance against this bubble. So you win mid, you win top, you win in the jungle, basically. It's jungle versus jungle. And then bottom lane, you have a very strong suicide hero that has the deny effect. And you can't kill him because he's going to have lane positioning. So Ophelia can do what? Gank mid? No, he can't gank a Magnus Engineer. He can maybe gank top. That's like his only thing I can think he can do this game. So this is the lineup, like I said, SG that they have. That's the lineup to counter this lineup that AL has that was so prominent for a long time.
Yeah, well, it's obviously you gotta play the game too. But yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. It's stay green. It actually makes a lot of sense why. It just seems like their lineup might just be that much stronger here, especially in the laning phase specifically. So we'll see how it works out, though. You see Bubbles up here. He's trying to get this ward aside, or actually places the one here at the ward spot, or the rune spot, I should say. We'll see if he gets up to the jungle eventually to take care of that. But it looks like it is going to be as expected here. With the lane setups really for both sides, and that kind of goes back to what we were talking about last game even, how you just seem like you can do that nowadays on the competitive scene. It's a lot more obvious for the most part. Witchlayer getting his groove on there in the middle lane. But yeah, Cookies, he will have a very difficult time to say the least. And Magnus Engineer, it's already just such a deadly combination, but when you have a hero like Witchlayer, he has no escape, and sure he has a counter set himself, but it's so minimal at level 1 especially. He's in for a tough time. As great of a player Cookies is, it is going to be difficult. So at the very that's the thing when it comes down to, though. It's like, sure, his farm may suffer, but at the very least, just don't die. I mean, that's what it comes down to. But that's a lot easier said than done, of course, against this matchup. So we'll see how the Magnus Engineer lane shines, if it does. Swinabels is going to be playing the Magnus on, of course, Sender on the Engineer against Cookies here on Witchlayer. So
if Cookies wants to kind of get any semblance of farm in this lane, it's going to have to be early. He's going to have to be aggressive early. You see some early harassment coming out. Oh, good job by Cookies. Actually, he does miss those last hits, but it's not very easy to do with a level 1 Graveyard Stun that only does 60 magic damage. But yeah, right off the bat, you see the double deny coming into effect, both from Tempest and from Plague Rider in this long lane, and immediately has lane positioning.
Yeah.
You have lots of liberal stuns coming out from King Plato, but it doesn't really matter this early on. Once you hit level 3, get some boots on Dark Lady, you could actually dive Plague Rider. You really could. But that being said, when you hit level 3, Plague Rider is probably going to be level 4 with the Cursed Shield, maybe boots of her own. So it's really, really nicely crafted lineup here for Hellborn.
You're kind of chuckling a little bit right there, because as you said, King Plato with the Andromeda liberal, but it's King Plato on Andromeda, Mookies on Dark Lady. Mookies is usually their go-to support player, if anyone. And yeah, I just always find that funny, when we see these kind of just completely reverse roles in this case, going from series to series or whatever. But that's how it is, and maybe it just comes down to Mookie's just that comfortable playing. I know you've said this before. Mookie's in TMM at least, it seems like he actually loves to play more the carry option.
He does, yeah.
Just in the competitive games, though, it seems like he's just played the support role more. But anyways, playing a Dark Lady here, and I'm sure he'll do fine. But again, I still just find that a little funny. Even is Kazu playing Plague Rider, by the way? Yeah. So it seems like Kazu has kind of stepped up as, at least with this roster, again with Sender playing for Skyzo today. I don't know if that is a permanent thing or if that just happens to be for today or what the deal is, but. Kazu has been their suicide guy today, as far as SG goes. So.
Yep. Early boots up onto Dark Lady. Did go a little bit of a different route as far as the Dark Lady build. Has the Iron Buckler instead of getting that protective, what is it called? That little ring there. Ring of Protection. Or Guardian Ring, sorry. And so it's not going to have that early Ring of the Teacher. Mid lane, we do have an Invisible Engineer. So Magnus, he's got that level 3, or level 2 stun, I should say, a little bit more range. And they could kill him quite easily if Cookies steps out of position just a little bit. But he's not. He's being very strong with his position. But look at this early lead. It's very early, but still. 1,000 experience, 700 gold lead coming out for SG right now. It's basically now jungle versus jungle. And Tempest just farms faster than Ophelia. I know some people say, including Chessie, says he thinks Ophelia farms faster than any other jungler. I strongly disagree. I think Tempest farms so damn fast, especially compared to Ophelia.
Yeah. And then you see up here, yeah, again, Freak definitely need work here on Tempest. As you would expect, of course. So, sure, you have Dark Lady, who is free farm, but again, that goes back to also the lane control. You mentioned the double deny right off the bat, and you see once again right here, the lane's being pushed up, and Plague Rider at the very least is managing some good levels here, and even some decent farm. I mean, he has 11 creep kills himself to the 15 of Dark Lady, so Kizu's farm isn't even that bad, despite Andromeda. Seems like she's been doing her best to constantly harass, but because, if anything, it's just been very difficult. Good job by Cookies right there, using that Graveyard Stun, only level 2, but gets a creep kill out of it. And speaking of low creep kills, he only has 5 himself, actually. So, again, kind of expected. At least he is staying alive, but you got to wonder, you know, how much of an impact the Switch Air ultimate is going to have because of the situation here. Doesn't seem like it is going to be much. And then on top of that, you have Swiddamel's on Magnus. He is having great farm, of course. And, well, obviously a Portal Key is still a little bit of ways off, but an early Portal Key is to be expected here on him playing the Magnus as he stuns him right there. Not going to kill necessarily, but applying the harassment as he can continue to do. Double damage room being protected by Cinder right here. I don't know if anyone's going to come get it, though, eventually. It seems like Magnus is actually heading down there. Should be able to.
Ring of Sorcery, yeah, he is running down there. He's got his bottle. Ring of Sorcery will be up onto Tempest quite soon. Just needs another, well, 20 gold or so, and he will have that. So right on par, about a 4.5 minute. That's good for him. But you compare that to Ophelia, she just simply doesn't farm as fast.
Yeah.
Not that even Creams is doing anything wrong, or that Tempest has had lucky spawns. It's just simply, you're taking over a creep, you're killing it. Or sorry, you're not taking over a creep. You're converting it to your own minions and then killing all the creeps. Whereas Ophelia, you're missing out on that part because you're taking a creep. It seems obvious to me. But anyway, top lane we have Bubbles. He's at 11 CS to 23 and 8 from Slick's playing that Silhouette. That's about right. I mean, that's how it kind of should be, I suppose. In a Bubbles long lane versus a short lane Silhouette.
Yeah, it's Slick's here on Silhouette is definitely looking pretty good here early on. So yeah, it goes back to, you know, Parasite. That's why I think it's just an extreme thing with that, where the fact that Parasite it's a mix of Ophelia and Tempest. In a sense, he takes over the minion like Ophelia does, but then he also gets to get the credit of the experience and the gold from it after he's done with it. It would be as if Ophelia could just kill her creeps off, you know, when she's done with them or something, and get some experience and gold from it. How you think broken that would be, but hey, Parasite can do that, man. I know, obviously, I'm not saying Parasite's OP by any means, but I'm just saying it's kind of funny when you look at it that way.
If you strictly farm on Parasite, you can actually get levels faster than most junglers. You really can.
Oh yeah, I would think so, for sure.
And the problem with comparing him to Tempest is Tempest has lots of minions when they split, so you're doing much more damage at a higher, faster rate.
Of course.
Than Parasite.
Of course. Double Minotaur army here from Creams, playing that Ophelia. He's going to join the lane, actually. It looks like, they say you're going to keep denying us. Well, you've talked about this before, Trout. You might as well push up the lane at this point. And they do have a Ballista here, actually. This is a pretty good push. And it should be pretty well timed, actually. Yeah. As this could definitely work out here. So, yeah, they're going to apply a lot of pressure to this tower. You already see Engineer transitioning over. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, actually a freeze onto which right there puts a Hex on a Tempest. Trying to survive here. The Great Reset. Oh, did he cancel the Tempest ultimate? No, he did not. Tempest spawns the minions, and down goes Witcher. I thought I saw the animation of Tempest right there, casting the ultimate, but it didn't go off. Maybe it was just the elementals. Anyways, he goes down. Bloodlust kill for Swindlemelons. Meanwhile, at the top lane, Bubble's in a lot of trouble. He'll show Surf away, so it looks like GG Sucko should be fine. And the bottom tower is up for now. It's probably going to fall here. Plague Rider and Engineer nearby. Engineer with a double damage ring. Even there comes the turret. Plague Rider playing risky. It's going to be killed, though. So at least the Absolute Legends will get that for them.
Well, the scary thing is actually you see the courier coming up here. I wonder if it's going to try to spot out those Bubbles, because you saw the TP that was in mid was canceled. And that was by Bubbles, and now he's up here and just sitting up here because he has nothing to do.
Yeah.
He bought an extra TP, by the way. His farm is going to be pretty bad. But I think that courier is actually looking for him. I'm not 100%
I believe
sure.
it was, yeah.
He's
but
going to
no,
run into Silhouette, though.
Uh-oh. He has a shell surf.
He does have a shell
surf. He's going to juke.
Should be
Juke
fine.
and jive. Okay, he should be good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a good heads up. I believe, like you said, he was kind of scouting out with it. But there are items on the courier, too, so he figured, all right, go ahead and use it. Probably not going to find him. And so GG Slay does survive, but, yeah, that's a good heads up there. I'm guessing that was Slicks using the courier. Perhaps somebody else, but anyways, he survived, so good news. But so the bottom tower push, you got look at the stats overall. 7.5 and 8 minutes in relay, 1600 goalie, 3400 experience in favor of State Green still. So Rookie's farm on Darklady, 320 goal per minute, definitely solid here as far as his start goes. But
this lineup reminds me a lot of the grand finals that we had of TDM versus Complexity, where they had the solo mid. It was like similar to what they did for a long time, but just kind of faded out the strategy I'm talking about.
which grand finals, by the way?
The second game in the Dream Arena.
Okay.
Where we had Succubus mid being played by B-Kid. Actually, stun missed there in mid. Actually, it could have been a huge play there. Nice attempt there from Cookies, but just a little out of range. Ghost Marchers up on Mag make it a little bit more difficult to catch him. But when you had that Succubus solo mid against two, it was a Miraxis, a Luna, and then you had it was actually a Plague Rider being played by Zai in the long lane against a Dark Lady Glacius, and Glacius could, and you also had an Ophelia on that team and a Bubbles. Very, very similar team.
Yeah.
And
true.
you had a keeper. It was basically farmer in the jungle versus farmer. The faster farmer being keeper, farming faster than Ophelia. In this case, you were winning mid because you had a dual lane against a solo. You had the Plague denying, so it was denying lots of experience from Dark Lady. And then you had, it was actually Silhouette in that game as well, now that I think about it. So it's very, very similar. And what happened, Complexity got massively out-farmed in the early game. They had signs of life with some good pickoffs, but, you know, if you play it correctly, you just, you steamroll your early victories. I mean, look at this. 4,600 experience lead at only 9 minutes in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's pretty damn huge, honestly, for State Green. So yeah, absolute legends. They're no doubt in a tough spot here early on. Again, so they have a farming Dark Lady, but yeah, it really is coming together. How that strategy and, you know, why, well, Trademark Esports specifically has been so successful against Complexity. Again, the last 4 times they've matched up, Trademark Esports has been victorious in pretty big matchups at that. So,
yeah.
Deny on the tower, by the way, where was that? Looks like the top lane was eventually. I saw that actually. It was sitting around 100 life. He was kind of just chilling there waiting to decide if he wants to deny it or not. But in the end, he decides to. And now he's going to kind of push up in the lane a little bit. But Silhouette is just free farming herself. 326 gold per minute here for Slicks. And looking pretty good, but he's only the 3rd best on his team. You have your Tempest just ahead of him, but again, Swindle Melons on Magnus, man. 384 GPM. Ghost Marcher's Bottle, Power Supply, and Grave Locket already. Probably going to be that Portal Key next in line, but yeah, he's really adding up on those early on build-up items here. And eventually going to get that Portal Key, and, well, he'll do a lot of work, I'm sure, for State Green. So just more things adding up here. Andromeda's in kind of a nifty spot. No, that's an illusion. I hate Andromeda.
They look the same.
With illusions, yeah. He's one of those heroes like Soulster, I think is another one. Just, you can never really tell. I'm getting so focused on that at the top lane. Silhouette actually gets picked off, so I'm watching Andromeda run around, but apparently Bubbles and Witchslayer made a big play at top.
Yeah, Kelp Field combination with all her spells plus the Silver Bullet from Witchslayer. Nicely set up gank there, coming out from Absolute Legends.
Yep. Of course, Silver Bullet's a lot of damage, 500 magic damage straight up at level 1. Middle lane, a bit of a push coming. Okay, there's a Homecoming Stone, guys. All right, they'll take that. So, got a free Homecoming Stone out of that.
There was something else on that.
Was there?
Yeah.
Was it picked up? I don't see anything picked up.
What was that? Now,
something destroyed.
Magnus is... Okay.
No, it wasn't a Magnus item. It wasn't a Portal Key, if that's what you're thinking. It definitely wasn't that. Oh, here we go, the initiation. Actually, Dark Lady going forward instead of backwards. Moki, okay, she will be ported back, actually.
Nice.
So that actually made a lot more sense. So she was trying to distract him, if anything,
yeah,
to go chase her. So that actually worked out pretty well. They deny the tower, but still a good play there. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what was on the courier if there was anything else, but...
There was something else. Maybe it was like a hatchet. I don't know. Could have been. But, yeah.
They already push the tower here, and they get the counter tower kill. But State Green still comes out on top there big time.
Yeah, they're pushing tower quite easily. Bubbles in the meantime trying to do what he can, but doesn't exactly do that much damage at this point. The Ancients are triple stacked, and I suspect Swindlemelon is going to jump over there and use that stun plus that ultimate with assistance from whoever, maybe Engineer, to get that fast portal key. But yeah, things are looking just pretty damn good for them overall. Not to mention, I talked about this all the time, they have fantastic team fight with Plague, with Engineer, with just massive AoE. Not so much on the Legion team. They have a lot of burst damage, and you know, CC, but not so much AoE.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Silhouette over here to clean up the Ancients as you were talking about. Now, actually, Andromeda's charging over it. The triple Vagabond Leader army also coming over, controlled by Creams, of course, playing that Ophelia, so not often you see a triple Vagabond Leader party, but that's, I guess, a good amount of nuke damage, and it actually could be decent for farming now that I think about it. And so just going to use it right here with those nukes coming out. Oh, they all get stunned, though. The Minotaur too powerful. Anyways, go back to the Ancients, and there's Magnus. He actually Eruption. So, again, Swinville's not afraid, man, to even Eruption on these Ancients. Now, the Legion team heading back over, though. They really know something's up, but I don't think they're just going to be able to get there, and actually they will be cleaned up. So, Magnus got a decent amount of those. He also had a Regen Rune, which he uses some full right there. That worked out. Bubbles has kind of just been doing his own thing at the top end in the meantime. The tower is very low. It is just at a deny range. He's going to push it. We'll see if SG respawns. It looks like there's a port in. And it is Tempest, so Bubbles, it's going to be risky. He does not have a Shell Surf. Needs to be careful. There's come some minions, and yeah, it's just too risky. Not worth it, GG Slayer. So he will fall back.
You have Cookies coming up on his way. Maybe he can bait something, regardless though this tower will get denied. Or will it? No, okay. I thought he might have been porting in there for man-up mode, but maybe trying to bait something now, Bubbles. But, you know, when you're running in like that, actually the stun come out onto Tempest. Do they have Silver Bullet? Yes, they do. One more auto attack, and King Plato gets credit for that kill.
Yeah, so, you know, that actually makes it more of a reason why GG Slayer perhaps actually should have ported in right there to go for the tower kill, but I didn't realize that he had both of Witchler and Andromeda running in, but they still got the kill in the end, so that was the good news. And definitely good execution right there, taking out Z-Freak. And they are starting to roam up here somewhat, kind of spread out. Ophelia's over here, taking over Vulture Lord, nearly running into Engineer, but going to get away before. But you see Magnus, he's realizing that he's kind of in a tough spot up here. And he'll just sit back. He actually bought a Mystic Vestments as well, so he's not he ain't too worried about rushing that portal key.
Yeah, he does this a lot, and I don't know if I really agree with it. Like, he builds so many build-up items on Magnus that he's not going to have that blink really anytime soon. Actually, they're initiating onto Slicks right here. Can they get the stun? Witch Slayer, can he get the stun? Oh. Good job by Cookies, getting the very tail end of that stun, clicking the ground so he can get the full range out of it. And they do get a kill on Slicks, so, you know, one of the things I was worried about is while Dark Lady got basically free farm as much as she could, dealing with the denies from Plague in this bottom lane, after they pushed that tower, she had nowhere to farm. Like, she walked towards mid, she TP'd there, tried to farm mid just for a little bit, but with the controlling of the lane with Plague Rider in this long lane after they pushed the tower, they didn't control it by stacking this main pole camp and then getting the lane back. But now with that kill, she's going to have proper lane positioning until she gets this Rune Cleaver.
Yeah, and of course that's the takeoff item. In fact, she has enough money for the one broadsword right now. Portal Key just picked up by Bubbles, actually. That didn't seem like he was having the greatest game, but he did have a little bit of free time there at the top lane, as we mentioned. And obviously enough to get him an early Portal Key. So Little Red Booty's bringing the teacher in. Well, Portal Key, nothing wrong with that. So
look at the difference, though. He has the essentials, basically. The Portal Key, TP, and boots.
Yeah.
And he was in an unfavorable lane. He wasn't doing anything. He had to sit up there in the trees for a good minute, literally a whole minute, because he canceled his TP in mid. You compare that to the absolute complete free farm 80 CS Magnus, who just has so many build-up items. Like, I understand that's good, and sometimes rushing an early Portal Key on Magnus is not really the smartest move because you need more levels, you need more damage and whatnot, but still. This is a Portal Key that could be very effective in ganking heroes like Witch Slayer or Dark Lady before they start to get out of control. And I feel like a couple build-up items, like maybe just one Grave Locket is fine, but that's just too many for my liking. And you're going to have to clear up those items eventually sometime anyway. Yeah. So I just think it's not only a waste of gold, but a waste of space.
Oh, an interesting sequence going to be happening up here. Perhaps an invisible Witch Slayer. You see Tempest is here. He does have an Engineer nearby at least, but there's the open. Tempest going to be dropped. There's a Sucker to see. The Silver Bullet not happening just yet. Not even. Oh, it is. Oh, Cookies. I don't think that was necessary, but hey, they made sure to get the kill, and that they did. That had to be the least amount of Silver Bullet damage ever. That was like 10 damage maybe. You even see the oops coming out right there from Cookies, but again, they got the kill. That's the good thing, and they're going to fall back here. That was pretty entertaining.
Now, to be fair, his auto attack was in cooldown, like and he attacked slowly. So maybe his thinking is, dear God, if he actually gets an ultimate off, and because I didn't use my ultimate, and they turn this on us, I'm going to kick myself so hard. So while it seems like a total ridiculous move, there is maybe some validity to why he did that.
Exactly, it is fair. You are right. I mean, if we could have been sitting here saying, "Oh my God, the biggest clutch play ever from Z-Freak. Why didn't he just Silver Bullet?" So, you know, maybe it still was worth it, but it just really was a funny sequence in the end. You know, again, it's not the shortest cooldown either, so you do got to be a little bit careful, especially at level 1. But he got the kill again, and that was a big kill, taking advantage of the Invis rune. and managing to stop Tempest from, well, I guess he's actually working towards a quicker, a shrunken head here. He is going the Mighty Blade pickup, and going to continue to farm in the jungle, and Seafreak is doing a good job of that. Again, 300 GPM, but he too isn't going to have necessarily the quickest portal key. I don't think that's really the biggest issue, but I mean, what do you make of that? Are you fine with him going the shrunken head route first on Tempest?
On Tempest, look at their heroes. It's I don't know. See, this is the thing I talked about before. Is
Andromeda,
he loves to go for more early game like team fight items on Tempest, regardless of who he's playing against. But the fact that he's playing against an Andromeda, I don't think first item Shrunken Head is necessarily the smartest move. He might just go for the Mighty Blade early on for the stats, and then maybe something like an they actually have an Astrolabe already onto Tempest. So maybe onto Plague. Maybe he'll go for a push tablet after this. But again, the other thinking is, okay, if we're very aggressive and we force Andromeda to use the swap early, then that opens up free reign. Bubbles can't cancel it. Nobody can cancel it. So it's still a fine pickup, actually. Yeah. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. So, Dark Lady was just delivered her Rune Cleaver. So again, 18 minutes in, it's not like the fastest Rune Cleaver in the world. It's not bad though. It's an 18-minute Rune Cleaver on top of Ghost Marchers, and depending on how the jungle situation. I mean, right now there are no stacks actually for the Legion team, so you want to start to get those up. I'm sure Andromeda is currently in the jungle, maybe waiting for that. For the 19-minute mark here to maybe get at least a couple stacks going, but the Ancients also are only at the original spawn. No stacks coming out there just yet, but Dark Lady is going to continue to farm pretty well here at the bottom lane as, again, the Rune Cleaver.
Yep. Shout out to the 6-minute delay, but it does look like one of the other items that was lost when we saw that career die was the vestments from Magnus.
Oh, okay.
And so I thought there was maybe something, and I thought it was a portal key. So like, you farmed so well in mid, like, where did the gold go? But he bought vestments. He does finally have his portal key. Maybe he just likes to time it around the time he hits level 11, but I think you could still be very effective with Magnus before that level 2 ultimate. But regardless, he has it. Doesn't matter at this point, and it's going to be very effective.
Yeah, so we got Mystic Vestments. That's 400 gold lost right there. So, but he obviously did eventually get it one again, and has that now. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Not the biggest deal. But yeah, so again, this Dark Lady, so she has a Rune Cleaver, like I said, though. The jungle hasn't really been stacked, though. There's a double stack Ancients now, and very likely going to be triple stacked here, actually. And I'm sure Mookies will be able to take advantage of that. Mookies need to be a little bit careful here, though. You can see Magnus coming in. The whole team from SG actually coming to the bottom lane all of a sudden. Silhouette did just finish her Firebrand, actually, after the Whispering Helm, so yet again, it will be, fairly squishy here. That's an illusion back here, and I don't think really much was used. They did use a turret from Engineer, but it kind of pushed it back. But both sides have all 5 players here ready to go. Are we going to see some initiation happen? And Andromeda with the Aurora actually hitting Magnus, but he stuns away before the catch happens. Bubbles portal keys in, but again, no one to catch. So the Hellborn team, they haven't fully retreated, though. They are still kind of hanging about, but in the end, it looks like SG says, not worth it. They're going to fall back.
Yeah.
And that'll be that.
TP's coming out right there. They see it top. That might be a makey. Give them an idea to maybe jump them or something like that, but no, they're not going to. Slicks actually has a Minotaur over here as he took over it. Again, going a similar route. He likes this route now, or this item build, I should say, on Silhouette with this Whispering Helm. I'm not sold. I'm just simply not sold. Like, we saw him when it gets to the late game, regardless. He's hitting like a truck, but I think really, honestly, any item build on Silhouette to the late game hits like a truck.
He didn't go Helm. We can be thankful for that.
Oh, you mean Helm of the Black Legion. Sorry. Yeah. I was thinking Helm of the...
Helm of the Victim.
Well,
a Whispering Helm. Yeah, that's true. But no, he didn't go Helm of the Black Legion, so got that working at least.
Well, it's not too late, Slick.
It's just in a whisper. He is always Helm. Anyways, Mighty Blade picked up on Dark Lady, so again, we'll probably see. Actually, so not going the Abyssal Skull route, actually. We see that a lot on Dark Ladies especially, but choosing to pass up that Abyssal Skull route, and again, I would think to be a Shrunken Head here, as that Mighty Blade turns into. But what do you think? A portal key, by the way, also Witch, so that's actually a very big item. And it's actually, speaking of Witch there, Magma stuns in right here. Will the follow-up come in time? The turret coming out, but Engineer was just a little bit too far. The Ophelia heal was used, and actually a counter coming out. There's a portal key Witch there. He does have a silver bullet. Will it even be necessary? The Kama Sun on top. No, it's not. And Cookies still gets credit for the kill. So that time he was able to hold back. Oh, I don't think he had enough mana anyways, but
yeah, he did.
Anyways.
that was just unnecessary and very bad initiation, and they should not have stunned in like that, and Sender walked up way too far. Thought they were going to go for a kill, but just bad communication. So that's a kill that just, when you look back in the replay, like, that did not need to happen at all. Now, they're still in a great position, don't get me wrong. But it's little kills like that that actually get them back in the game. When you're playing up against a Dark Lady, you cannot be complacent for a second.
Yeah.
Because specifically, the ultimate from Dark Lady can totally screw over your entire team. You initiate onto one hero in the front, you ult everybody in the back, they have no idea what's going on. Before you know it, it's a 4v5, and they're still trying to kill you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and you mentioned the portal key on Witchslayer, fantastic for him. He's got his core items, anything after this is luxury.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got his Grave Locket even now, so... Yeah, the portal key, the Grave Locket, the Striders, going that Beakid style. See him do that a lot, especially on that hero.
I actually have to give a shout to No Tail, because it's kind of like the No Tail style.
True.
He was the one that really did this.
Polywog Priest, especially.
Yeah.
Everybody loved to do that. And then he eventually actually went post-haste, too. Pretty, yeah, it works a lot easier nowadays, even when you think about it. Striders into post-haste.
Yeah.
He doesn't play HoN anymore, though. Dark Lady is going to go over here for the triple stack Ancients. I thought she was, actually. Okay, no, she's going to go middle first, wants to clean that up. But yeah, she'll head over here to the triple stack, and again, watch her GPM. She's already at 384. It's going to be 425 or so after this, at least. Abyssal Skull was actually just purchased, if I saw that correctly. So she went the Mighty Blade first, just for the extra life pool. But now she's going to have an Abyssal Skull. But look at that, just melt away. Now, actually, there was a spread farm right there. A couple of other heroes got a bit of that farm that I noticed, and so her GPM didn't necessarily skyrocket, but she still is at 390 gold per minute. And there's the Abyssal Skull delivered, and they're going to group up and push the middle lane because the bottom lane is being counter-pushed in the meantime by State Green, but this, you got to think it's going to work a little bit better for Absolute Legends. They're pushing a secondary tower here, and they may even get it before their first arrow falls here at the bottom lane, and Vulnerability comes out. The secondary tower at the middle lane, there's the Invulnerability from the Hellborn team. Magmus is setting up with the eruption. A great shot right there with the stun. Is it still going to fall? Looks like it might. Still going to see coming out. The Killfoot in the background. The tower is still up. Bubbles barely alive. Silver Bullet going to be used. Dark Lady toward the party. And Tempest will fall. They get the tower kill. Engineer dissipates right there. And now we have Magmus and Plaguecutter just running away. Silhouette is just running the whole way back. She did not pour back right there. And Absolute Legends just destroys that fight.
I am so proud. I'm so happy to see the way that they fought, that they didn't go crazy, they didn't freak out. Great heal from Creams actually started out, and specifically GG Slayer. I mean, he was so close to dying, but got everything off in a perfect order. Silenced.
Wow, he lived, yeah.
Yeah, he silenced the Plague Rider. The Plague Rider ultimate didn't come out, and it uses Kelpfield perfectly. He got away, used a Shell Surf for extra damage. That was just so well played by AL. It was a great setup by Swindle. Fantastic ultimate, did a lot of damage. The follow-up wasn't quite exactly there. And, yeah, I'm just really impressed with AO, how they played that. Like I said, they're fantastic players, and when you look at the last game, their lanes were pretty weird. But as they get into this game, and now it's at a very even state, and you can even argue that they actually are even ahead because of that last team fight. That you can expect a good game now coming out for the rest of this game.
Yeah, yeah, and sorry to cut you off there, but yeah, they got a Dark Lady here again, and you bring up this comparison a lot too, where Dark Lady versus a Silhouette specifically, we used to see it a lot more. I mean, this kind of trailed off lately, but we still obviously we see this game. Dark Lady just has such a strong advantage simply because of those Dark Blades. She will just tear up Silhouette.
Look at these soldiers up here.
Something's entertaining. What the hell? The backdoor, bad mannered soldiers. They're actually going to kill the shrine.
Oh, man.
I mean, that's not like the biggest deal in the world, but that's
hilarious.
Kind of funny. I mean,
look at these little...
They're backdooring the shrine here. They're like, well, don't mind us. We're just going to...
Where will they go next?
That's what I'm curious
about. Look for the courier.
The other shrine. The courier is actually being delivered right here.
Look at these rebels.
The shrine's going to fall. They're going to get a tower kill here. Not tower kill, but a shrine kill. You get gold for those, right? Do you know?
I think it gets spread out just a tiny little bit.
A tiny bit. So, okay, they're going to die now. They're in tower range. You idiots, fall back.
Their efforts were not futile.
They got a shrine. Hey, they did something.
That's hilarious.
I wonder if SG even realized that the whole time. They probably didn't even realize.
That's so funny.
That's something that stands out. Like, there's no notification or anything when it dies. So.
Your shrine has fallen.
Yeah, doesn't say that. Anyways, fun stuff. I had the damage chart up, pulling back up for a second. Look at Witchslayer. Witchslayer, 22% hero damage done, man. Yeah, this isn't necessarily a spamming damage hero. I mean, he's just managed to be involved. 1 and 2 overall.
He has no AoE. He's just, like you said, just been very involved and very
7-1, man.
And I will say, you were talking about how fast they were pushing. They actually have a very early bulwark up onto Ophelia. So their negative armor is through the charts. Like, on top of the level 4 Aurora, the negative armor from Bulwark now, that Darkly is going to cut through people like, shout out to Ziori, butter to a warm knife. That's my favorite metaphor right there. I love it.
Butter to a warm knife.
Like butter to a warm knife.
Creepy. Shrunken Head has been finished on Dark Lady. yeah, her farm, what now, 450 gold per minute. You mentioned that with the Andromeda combo, the Soul's Bulwark, it really is getting ridiculous. Now, Silhouette did, or not Silhouette, but Andromeda actually did decide to max out the Comet stun here rather than start to level up Dimensional Link. We saw that last series, I think it was, when Sender was playing the Andromeda. He mentioned that, how she actually maxed out the Dimensional Link before the Comet, so... Going the max out Comet, though, doesn't have any levels into Dimensional Link as a result, and to me, again, it kind of seems like one of those one-hit wonders of anything. But it will start to level up now. But the scary thing about an Andromeda is that you can't guarantee that you're going to just start to get levels by any means. I mean, she could be level 9 the rest of the game, honestly, so you got to be a little bit careful as far as your decision-making earlier talent build, but not the end of the world at the same time. So something else I wanted to bring up, what was it? Well, nothing specific, I guess, but you look more times. Actually, Wood started jumping. Magnus here in the middle lane. Graveyard Star going to be used right there. There's the Comet follow-up. Mana Drain on top of it. There's a Silver 9-0 for the kill, though. Oh! Magnus does away with the fun. No, the Portal Key destroyed, and Swindle Melons will get away. It was almost a little bit of taunting going on with the Mana Drain.
No, I don't think he had enough mana to use
Okay,
the
no,
ultimate.
he needed it. So, yeah, never mind. It wasn't taunting. I apologize. That was actually necessary. Dark Lady, okay, she has an Invis rune. This could get hairy right here. Jumping on a Tempest. The triple Minotaur coming in. Down he goes. The Comet on the Silhouette right there. There's a Taint. So another Minotaur stun. And Silhouette will fall. Absolute legends just flanking the hell out of SG right there. And it works out.
It does. I mean, that negative armor is so freaking high, man. It's so much. And like I said, you know, you talk about the, like I said before, the combination between Dark Lady versus Silhouette.
Yeah.
And as it gets to the late game, basically the best way to counter, really the only way to counter those silencing Dark Blades is to buy a frickin' Shrunken Head. And yes, you can disjoint it once with the Geometer's Bane, but it will just simply get reapplied in an AoE because you're jumping through there with your charging strikes. So I'm sorry, but I just do not like this build on Silhouette. I really don't like it. I think Geometer's Bane is fine, but I think you need to prioritize your Shrunken Head first, especially against Bubbles, especially against all of the CC abilities from Witchlayer, and especially against Dark Lady.
Nice job by Andromeda right there, kind of figuring that maybe somebody was hiding in the jungle. She Auroras, and they did spot Magnus, and he actually Portal Keys out before he gets caught. He was actually kind of lucky that he didn't get hit by the Aurora, because that would have deactivated the Portal Key. It was just close enough to spot him, though. But they get the tower nonetheless. Level 16 Dark Lady now, 505 gold per minute. Dark Lady has another 3,400 gold saved up after the Shrunken Head Abyssal Skull Rune Cleaver. So, yeah, Mookies is getting scary, man. And you can tell Absolute Legends, they really are playing very well here.
They are.
As this game progresses. Again, you look at the very beginning of this game, both the lineups, the lanes they were set up, it seemed like Stay Green was going to have the potential to even start taking off here in the early game. But that did not happen. AL just held their ground. I think Cookies has been a huge factor in that. He started roaming around, and despite his horrid start because of the Mag Engie lane he had to go up against, he's been a big factor. As I pulled up the damage chart earlier, in fact, again, he's still 22% overall hero damage done in this game. Quite a bit indeed. So only one kill for SG. I keep looking back at that, too. They still only have one hero kill now 30 minutes into the game. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is, especially when you had the more aggressive lineup early on. And like I said, as this gets to late, you have Andromeda swap to work with, and I love Andromeda in the late game. It's, in my opinion, the best support hero in the late game. Really is. The swap, it's so good against the ultimate from Tempest. He has Shrunken Head now, but if they realize that, and if King Plato plays patiently, they're going to be able to fight these fights so well, just Dark Leading the front lines, dishing out tons of damage with that magic immunity from Shrunken Head. And then he doesn't have to worry about a Tempest ultimate as long as King Plato is on the ball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. And, it would just seem kind of silly now. Granted, when you get kind of the heat of the moment, maybe as your Andromeda, you're like, oh, crap, I got to swap my teammate to maybe save him. But, yeah, you got to save it for Tempest. You really, especially with that Shrunken Head now, you just have to save it for Tempest, kind of play that Keeper versus Tempest battle. In this case, play the Andromeda versus Tempest battle. I mean, you just sit back and wait for that Tempest ultimate to be attempted from Z-Freak. Then you go for the swap. So we'll see, how that comes into play. As I'm sure there's going to be at least one big fight here between these two teams before this game ends, if it does anytime soon. But only 31.5 minutes in, so still fairly early on. And we've been complimenting these two teams on just being very entertaining and action-oriented teams, and here we are at a 9-1 game at 32 minutes in. So, but yeah, Absolute Legends. They've definitely been gaining control of themselves and here in this game. And what is Mookie's from him now? It's about 510, so it's been around the same. He has a Frostburn finish here. I just saw something
Look
else
at
purchased.
how well Kareem's is farming though. I mean, this is
yeah.
a player too that I don't think of as a jungler really at all. I thought,
True.
and I haven't seen him play for a long time, but I think of him as like a very, very hard support. I'm getting no items.
He played
but
Glacius last game.
he played Glacius last game, and look at their hard support, by the way. It's Andromeda level 11 with a push tablet.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kareem's 305 gold per minute. You compare that to Tempest, who was totally out farming him in the beginning, who's 0-4 and 1, 275 gold per minute. You just have a Boundai that was just purchased from Kareem's. He's got a Soul's Bulwark, finished Shaman Tedris, Ring of Sorcery, Astrolabe, played a Greed. He is freaking farmed, man.
Yeah.
Second highest on his team, actually.
Yeah. Is he? Oh yeah, he is. Wow, yeah, 301 gold per minute. So Bubbles following suit, and again, Bubbles really just all across the board for Absolute Legends. It kind of has been an impressive game especially when you look at how this game begun. So, yeah, they continue to kind of be in control in that sense. Obviously, we've been more and more of a delayed, or not delayed, but more and more of a non-action moment here in this game, but. I think it's kind of working out a little bit better for Absolute Legends, if anyone. We'll see. Look at SG's lineup, and Silhouette's farm actually, it's 391 gold per minute, still impressive for Slicks, but you were mentioning earlier how you're not necessarily a huge fan of his build. He has 3,500 gold saved up, so if he hits that 3,900 mark, very likely could purchase that Shrunken Head here. And that could, of course, help things out as far as in this game. And right now, SG is actually going to group up here in the middle lane and kind of make some push happen. But as you see on the mini-map, it doesn't seem like our Legion side in Absolute Legends is necessarily too concerned about making something happen. I will say, man, this Witch Slayer is Cookie's love drain, man. I've seen him every single time I go back. It seems like he's always, whether it's on the creeps or even when he's jumping on heroes, he takes advantage of that. And he has a level 3 now. It's actually at level 4. I mean, it's a good amount of mana. You get 100 mana per second, so that can be pretty effective against specific heroes, like more of the, like something like a Magnus. If you have to jump him, you just mana drain him full, depending on how much mana he's already used, and he can't stun away. So it can be pretty useful. But
yeah, and I don't know if you mentioned this, but it's also very effective against illusions. So like that shadow ability from Silhouette, it dies instantly.
Yep.
You don't want to use your Hex on that because that's a very, very important ability. But if you do use it, your power drain onto that illusion, it goes away instantly.
yeah, that's actually very another. And I've never really brought that up before. That's a very good point too. And of course, the obvious also being a nullstone removal, just very easy for that.
Well,
So.
he has no nullstone, so you don't have to worry about that. And he does have a Shrunken Head, which is great, but
Yeah.
I mean, just look at it. It just seems so obvious to me. I don't know. You go Shrunken Head, you go Nullstone, and then they have no way to really kill you. Like, they can maybe take off the Nullstone from far away with an Andromeda swap, but why the hell would they want to do that?
Oh, of course not.
They don't want to do that. So, sitting back with the Geometer Spin, Shrunken Head and a Nullstone, then you can start looking towards damage items. There's nothing they can do to you in a team fight. But this way, now it's like, wow, he has a lot of items, except he's still very susceptible to ganks. We better go on him. Like, that would seem so obvious to me.
Ooh, Slicks thinking about being pretty aggressive there. He doesn't have a portal key or anything like that, though, but he was kind of charging in right there, but obviously the Legion team, they spread out and fall back. Kongor is course up. He hasn't been attempted yet, let alone done, but 35 minutes into the game, both teams seems like they're at least somewhat interested at this point in maybe doing him. Hellborn side, they're the ones with the vision control right now, and of course being the Hellborn team, got that quote-unquote Hellborn advantage here. We'll see if they take advantage of that, or if they are going to fall back, and that's what it looks like what they're going to do, because look at the top, but in the meantime, it was actually being pretty aggressively pushed in here by the Creepway. Plague Rider ports back, and he'll set up some defense up here. Going to be played by Kizu. 0-0-0 Plague Rider for 36 minutes into the game. Again, there's only one kill total on SG's side, so
Yeah.
you can't really look at that too much, but
Of course.
man.
In fact, he's actually not played that badly this game.
of
I
course
think he's
not.
played quite nicely. That just hasn't really been an opportunity for him to shine or do anything. He does have a Storm Spirit now, which is good for him. Dark Lady, by the way, bought a Shroud.
Oh, interesting.
And I will say, right when Dark Lady started splashing onto the scene, and I know it was Fnatic that was picking up a lot, I remember actually rigging and playing with No-Tail was playing it a lot. And he felt like Shroud was core on Dark Lady at the time. He said that this item is core. Dark Lady is only good if you buy a Shroud on her, and was saying these kind of things. So it came back to me just now, but it is quite good on her, especially now with the upgraded version of Genjuro. Like I said, this is one of my favorite items because it's so much damage, so much utility, all in one item slot. It is very expensive. I think the most expensive item in the game.
Other than Dawnbringer, which you can't purchase, so.
Right.
But I agree. If Genjuro didn't exist right now, if this was before Genjuro, then I would be a little bit skeptical on the whole Assassin show. But yeah, with the Genjuro, I think the fact that you get upgraded to Genjuro, I think is what really does it. So
You're right. Dawnbringer is the most expensive
6600,
item in the
right?
game.
Yeah. It's the 2200s. Add it all up. Here we go. Initiation actually. Song of the Seal to Magnus. There's a count for the stun coming out from Witch there with the miniaturization. There's the Graveyard. Oh, he gets tablet for the double tablet. Going to be fine for now. Bubbles will not poured in. Engineer does die before the energy field though. Tempest Ultimate. It's going to be swapped. No, he's out with a Silver Blood on Magnus. He was channeling the Eruption. He gets taken out though. Tempest falling quickly. Tempest will fall right there. The Plague is passing around. Silhouette being locked down. Is there going to be the follow-up? The hat-trick coming out from Mookie's actually. There's a port out from Slicks right there. Magnus buys back. He stuns back in, but at what cost right here? Magnus will fall. Quad kill coming out for Mookie's. And of course, we're going to push in actually. GG, well played, being called by KZ.
Wow.
There we go. Absolute Legends takes game number 2. And that means we are going to a third and final game here between Absolute Legends and Stay Green. So how about that, man? Game number 2, entertainment. Now, obviously, in terms of kill, again, it was only 9-1, 35 minutes in, so maybe not in that perspective, but
well, I don't think the kills really did it justice as to how fun that game was to watch.
Yeah.
And like I said, that turning point really, I mean, they were starting to slowly get back to the groove of things. Cookie, like you mentioned, just finding the openings every single time he could. But really that mid-fight where they just totally kept their composure, what looked like it was the starting of a bad situation. Swindle, he had a great ultimate to start it off, and it was a good idea. They were pushing bottom. He was channeling that ultimate. They wanted to time it perfectly with the ports, but they just kept their composure. They had the good heals coming out from Creams that ultimately kept them alive. Bubbles was able to get all of his spells off, same with the rest of his team, and they just played it really, really well. It was really impressive.
They did. It was a lot of fun to watch, and here we are. We're going to be going to a third and final game between Stay Green and Absolute Legends. Both teams have definitely had their shining moments in this series. Of course, Stay Green took the first game, Absolute Legends, so they can fight back strong, and they take the second game. So our third and final game for the day even, going to be coming up here, ladies and gentlemen. Sit tight. We have Absolute Legends taking on Stay Green, Game 3. See you then.